Representative Moore, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Westman. I also appreciate you visiting Utah a year ago. As we talked a lot about drought, and all day it rained, so we welcome you anytime that you'd like to come back this summer. My questions will be all for Mr. Gibson, Ron Gibson. When I emerged out of the primary and got to sit down with you and your distinguished brother, Kerry, I still remember what you asked me. You said, look, I get you're probably going to vote along the lines with us. We assume that, but what we really need to do in some cases is help us carry the water. And this is an opportunity for me to continue to try to do that as much as possible. So much of what you all are facing and what our Utah agriculture community is facing, it's tough because I can't snap my fingers and solve it. But I do want to give you an opportunity just to talk to lawmakers today, kind of share what you need us to help you with respect to what you refer to as the miracle of agriculture. I love the way you've communicated that in your testimony. But I want to touch on, so I'm going to forego the input costs and the input prices. You discussed that already, and you covered that at great length. I'll move to another question I have. That a big concern we have is that people working in agriculture are leaving the industry and turning to other sectors that are maybe less physically and emotionally stressful and draining. Can you explain for us what trends you have seen in this space in Utah and what our ag force looks like in 10, 20, or 30 years?
Well, you know, farmers and ranchers are a group of people that do what they do because they love it. They never would do this for the money because the money is so crappy. But the reality of the situation is that at some point you can't continue to do this at a loss. And you know, if I could make one message clear about what we're trying to talk about today, it is that if we don't solve this problem, we're going to lose these ultra important industries for this country. And, you know, most of them have been represented today. You know, you got to think about the industry that feeds us. You know, our iPhones won't matter if we don't have food. And we are at that crossroads right now where the farmers and ranchers in this country are calling uncle. Like, you cannot continue to take those kind of hits and move forward. And the stress that's there, like for me, for example, knowing that I'm that 7th or 6th generation, and I've got all those people that worked on my farm to build what it was so that I could have the opportunity to do what I do, and I can't make it work. I remember a few years ago, my dad said to me, well, I've done it. And I said, what have you done? And he says, well, it's not my problem anymore. I got it to the next generation and I didn't lose it. And so now it's that responsibility lays on me. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say is we've got to protect these industries in America that make America what it is. All the other stuff lives off of these natural resources that make America great. And if we can't fix problems like that, we have no business being the greatest country in the world, because other countries know how important agriculture is. Other countries know how important their timber industry is. Other countries know how important their fuel industry is. And we've got to make sure that we figure that out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that sentiment, Ron. With the remaining 45 seconds or so, just any short-term actions that we here in Congress can take to help you, our Utah farmers, and anybody participate in the miracle of agriculture.
Well, yeah, turn on American oil. Like, we support green energy in agriculture, and we love that. That's fine. But you can't force us to use green energy when green energy doesn't exist. Like when that time comes, we'll adapt and we'll move forward towards that. Right now, that's not there. And for us to be able, or to be forced to use those kind of technologies when they don't even exist. I can't even imagine something that would run my 1,000 horsepower corn chopper with a battery. Like that can't happen today. Maybe someday that will happen, but today that can't happen. And in the meantime, instead of it costing me $500 a gallon or $500 a day to run that thing, it's costing me $2,500 a day to run that thing. Those are numbers that can't work for me long term, or America is going to starve. These are very simple concepts that we have to do. We can't turn our American energy off and expect for our economy to survive.
Thank you. Yield back.